Tonight, a man recalls his near-death encounter with a grizzly bear. Plus, citizen soldiers prepare for the worst on the water.
From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Good evening and thanks for making MTN your choice for news. I'm Tim McGonigal. Keely Van Mittendorp is off tonight. The victim of a brutal grizzly bear attack south of Choteau is telling his story. MTN's Tom Wiley got the first-hand account and has our report. We need to remind you some of the images you're about to see are graphic.
Shannon Rammel is lucky to be alive.
We got problems with grizzlies up here at my house, and I just got attacked by one.
A chance encounter with a grizzly bear on Monday left Rammel with scars, stitches, bruises, and one heck of a story.
I didn't stand a chance. You know, he come out of there real fast.
It started Monday afternoon when a neighbor spotted bear tracks near the Rammel property.
But her and I, my wife and I and my little daughter, we had walked, she's 12, her name's Liesel, we had walked over to the pond to look at the tracks.
They were about to head home when Shannon checked out a nearby building where grain was stored to see if any had been eaten.
So I went to the building, I looked in slowly to the right-hand side and didn't see no corn in there. And so I looked to the left, all of a sudden I heard this, "Roar!" And he come flying out of there right off the bat.
Shannon struggled with the bear, but was soon overpowered.
I remember rolling to my belly, and when I rolled to my belly, he jumped on my back and bit me with full force, trying to rip off this shoulder. So I just laid there quietly then because I couldn't do nothing. He was on top of me.
His wife, Jamie, who had returned to the truck with her 12-year-old daughter, acted quickly.
The whole time he's throwing Shannon like a rag doll. So when I punched the truck, he had stopped and he looked at me dead straight in my eyes. And he got off Shannon and turned around and got out of there.
Shannon was in shock, but he wanted to document the immediate aftermath in case he didn't make it.
And you can see my bones, my tendons. He ripped into me pretty good there.
Shannon was life-flighted from Choteau to Benefice. Luckily, he suffered no broken bones, but the wounds on his upper body will take time to heal.
Yeah, I appreciate everybody that's come out to us. They come out to my house, take care of the kids. Everybody, a lot of people are just gracious and very nice to help people out.
The Rammels have 9 children, and this encounter puts the problem of grizzlies on the prairie into focus.
Yeah, this is more bear aware, and it shouldn't be like that. We live on the plains. They have the mountains. They can stay up there.
And that's my fear, is I don't want a bear like that up there around all my children.
So, everybody be careful out there.
Tom Wiley, MTN News.
The Rammels believe the bear that attacked Shannon is the same one they've reported on their property 5 times since the fall. As of this afternoon, FWP was still trying to locate the bear. The death toll from COVID-19 in the Treasure State has risen to 55 after Bighorn County Health reported its 6th death. Bighorn is also reporting 30 new cases today and has 170 active cases. The state of Montana reported 201 new cases since Tuesday, the second highest daily total since it began tracking the numbers in February. Cascade County has 71 active cases, Lewis and Clark County has 48, and Hill County has 27. And statewide, there are over 1,300 active cases. 59 Montanans are hospitalized. Well, earlier today, Governor Steve Bullock announced new PSAs that feature public health and healthcare officials from across the states. The videos showcase personal stories about the importance of taking steps like wearing a mask to curb the spread of the virus. Recovered COVID patient Katie Gondero also spoke at today's press conference on just how damaging the virus can be, even to a young and healthy individual.
People say, you just get the flu and get over it, and it's no worse than a bad cold. This is much more serious than that. And for me, being healthy in 23 and having this experience, I can't imagine being in a high-risk group.
And from Capitol Hill, Representative Louis Gohmert tested positive for COVID-19 today. The Texas Republican attended 2 House hearings yesterday. He was seen wearing a bandana for a few moments before asking Attorney General William Barr questions at the House Judiciary Oversight hearing. Because Gohmert had interaction with Attorney General Barr outside of the hearing room on Capitol Hill, Barr will be tested for coronavirus as well. The Montana Department of Commerce is partnering with NeighborWorks Montana to help raise awareness about their COVID-19 emergency housing assistance and hopefully help more Montanans not lose their home. MTN's John Riley has more.
The additional federal unemployment assistance and the eviction moratorium established by the Federal CARES Act ran out last week. Congress is looking at additional protections, but nothing is concrete yet, and August rent and mortgage payments are still due. There is emergency housing assistance available through the Montana COVID Relief Fund. $500 million have been allocated to the program, but only around $1.1 million has been requested by Montanans. The Department of Commerce's new partnership with NeighborWorks Montana aims to increase awareness of the program and help Montanans that are potentially looking at losing their home.
COVID has been something that has upended everything. And there is no shame in taking advantage of some of these resources that are available if your family or you as an individual have been financially affected by COVID.
NeighborWorks Montana works with thousands of families every year to assist with education and financing for housing. The Emergency Housing Assistance Program provides rent, security deposit, and mortgage payment assistance for Montanans who have lost their job or substantial income as a result of COVID-19, with applicants eligible for up to $2,000 per month. Housing payments are often the lion's share of a family's budget. Commerce Director Tara Rice wants individuals to know that this program is there to support them.
For many people, a job loss or a reduction in income occurred earlier this spring, and if they're behind on rent or their mortgage payment, the program can help them get current, in addition to help them making their monthly payments going forward during months for which they qualify.
Reporting from Helena, John Riley, MTN News.
Well, today emergency crews were called out to a fire in Great Falls. It was just after noon when the call came in. Crews immediately responded to the 2400 block of Central Avenue across the street from the Paris Gibson Education Center. We spoke with the owner of the home, shocked by what she was seeing.
Confused, upset, overwhelmed.
Yeah.
But everyone's out and everyone's okay. That's what matters.
She also told us she rented the house out. Investigators were on scene, but as of now, they don't know what caused the fire. 10 Montana National Guard members are working to improve their skills when someone needs to be rescued from the water. Today, aviation crews were out at Canyon Ferry Lake practicing to be ready for water rescues. Helicopter crews conducted a series of simulated rescues. They practiced lowering rescue swimmers to the water. The swimmers then swam over to a person in need of help, attach them to a rope, and let the crew hoist them back to the helicopter. Leaders say the experience they get here is invaluable.
We are a landlocked state, so you don't get a whole lot of that water experience. So they come out of it with a lot more confidence in the water.
Leaders said this type of training will help Guard members in a range of situations, from rescues in Montana to assisting in other states during disasters. And their training will continue later in the week as they move on to practicing rescues in moving water. Well, one fire that we want to get you caught up on tonight, not quite in our immediate vicinity. The Magpie rock fire burning west of Dixon has grown to 1,200 acres due to gusty winds last night. Heavy air tankers dropped retardant on the fire that is burning in steep, rocky terrain with dense brush and timber. There are 165 personnel working on this fire by air and on the ground. There are no evacuations and no structures are threatened at this time. Meanwhile, closer to home, the heat continues for us here in Montana, and that'll happen again tomorrow. Our Storm Tracker weather team is here to tell us more. And for the latest on these very high temperatures, let's check in with Grant Garland.
All right, good evening, Tim, and good evening, everybody. You're exactly right. The heat is going to continue tomorrow, especially for our friends up towards Havre and Glasgow. 97 degrees. We're going to be looking at 92 here at home in the Electric City, 94 down towards the capital, and 98 out in Jordan. Bless y'all. That is hot. Currently, though, temperature 73 degrees in Great Falls, 75 in Helena, 80 in Havre, and 75 in Glasgow. As far as our winds are concerned, not seeing anything that stands out. 7-mile-per-hour winds in both Miles City as well as Great Falls. Over the last 3 hours, we have been looking at a few showers that are still lingering up towards Fort Belknap. We're just seeing a few sprinkles there, but don't worry, that is dissipating. Overall, tonight, temperatures will fall down to around 60 degrees for Great Falls, with winds out of the southwest around 5 to 10 miles an hour. And for our friends in Helena, temperatures around 59 degrees with mostly clear skies. We're going to see temperatures tonight getting down to around 62 out towards Malta and and Hayes, 60 in Havre. Now, cooler temperatures, they are on the way, but we're going to have to wait and talk about that in a few minutes. But for now, back to you.
All right, thanks, Grant. Well, this week we're featuring a series called Safely Back to School. Today, we sat down with a group of Helena Capital High School students to hear their thoughts on this school year. With mixed emotions, these 4 seniors expressed their concerns and their hopes for their senior year. They all admitted online distance learning was challenging. They hope to be able to attend classes in person starting next month, but they say they're prepared to adapt and get back to some type of routine this fall.
Maybe by a show of hands, who would prefer in-person learning? You all would.
Just however we go back to school, I think it's going to be a challenge for me to start waking up early again, because having online school, I just always slept in every day, and now it's going to be super hard for me to start waking up early to go to school again.
Now, another concern as kids head back to class is transportation. Great Falls Public School delivers over 5,200 students to 21 schools, including early learning, elementary, middle, and high school. The school district has made a transportation plan. It's been approved by the Cascade City County Health Department. It limits 1 student per seat unless there are family members, then they can sit together. But they still want to hear from parents, so they sent out a survey. Superintendent Tom Moore says the more information they get now, the more informed decisions they'll be able to make about busing.
We've got to know specifically which bus routes we're going to have certain numbers of children on, so we can gauge how we're going to get them physically distanced on those buses. Family groups of children can sit together in the same seats or in closer proximity, but if you're not from the same family group, then they're going to have to be physically distanced on the buses. So
now, parents still have time to fill out the survey. The results will be discussed at the August 10th meeting. Coming up, calling all farm dogs. There's money and prizes for the best. We'll explain in tonight's Montana Ag segment.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Welcome back. Farmers and ranchers are invited to submit nominations for the Farm Bureau Farm Dog of the Year contest. It celebrates farm dogs that work alongside farmers and ranchers to produce nutritious food for families and their pets across America. The Montana Ag Network's Russell Nimitz shares more.
The Farm Bureau Farm Dog of the Year contest is sponsored by the American Farm Bureau Federation, and last year's winner was Flint, an Australian Shepherd owned by Red and Beth Crandall of Springville, Utah. Beth says the contest is a great way to share the story of working dogs.
In Farm Bureau, we talk a lot about sharing your story, and I think that a lot of the general public who's not involved in agriculture doesn't understand what a working dog does on a ranch and why ranchers have working dogs and how they can help them on a ranch. And so it was kind of our opportunity to share our story with our dogs.
Rhett says it's important to recognize the dual role that farm dogs often play as both working dogs and companions to farm families.
Together, Flint and I can accomplish a lot of things that would oftentimes take more than one person. And what I'm referring to is herding cattle and moving them to new pastures. There's been many times where I've taken Flint and just he and I have moved a herd of over 100 head of heifers. And it's something that just makes my life easy, and it also makes my life enjoyable having him around.
Desired attributes in the Farm Dog of the Year include helpfulness to the farmer or rancher and his or her family, playfulness, and obedience. And in addition to bragging rights, there's monetary prizes up for grabs and more.
So Farm Bureau Farm Dog of the Year is we were awarded $5,000 as well as 1 year's worth of Purina dog food, which we fed Purina anyways, so it was kind of nice for us to get a year of free dog food for Flint. And out of that $5,000, we had the opportunity to go to the American Convention for Farm Bureau, which is something that Rhett and I have always wanted to do.
For more information about the Farm Dog of the Year contest, visit the American Farm Bureau Federation's website, and please remember, nominations are due August 20th. In Billings, Russell Nimitz, MTN News.
Well, as we go throughout the day here in Great Falls, tomorrow 62 degrees by 7 a.m., by 4 p.m. 90 degrees. And for our friends in Helena, we're going to be looking at really the same situation, but 91 by 4 p.m. Don't go away. Our 7-day forecast is coming up right after this break.
Storm Tracker weather starts now with Grant Garland.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope that you have had a fantastic Wednesday evening. It was a very, very hot day. Take a look at here, 95 degrees in Great Falls, 92 in Helena. So you head on up to Havre, almost triple digits, 99 degrees. Very, very warm day for us all. And at Glasgow and Jordan, our numbers never came in, but you guys were right around the 92, 93 degree mark, and 91 out towards Kalispell. Now, the average for this time of year is right around 86 degrees, with the record being set back in 1934 when it was a whopping 102. Also, the year that Maggie Smith was born. Bless her, she's beautiful. She was not only Professor McGonagall in Harry Potter, but she was the Dowager Countess in Downton Abbey. 71 degrees right now in Great Falls, 77 in Helena. Still looking at the mid to upper 70s for both Glasgow and Jordan, and 80 degrees out towards Havre. With our winds, even though we aren't really seeing any winds to mention right now, we did see a few wind gusts up to around 24 miles an hour in Cutbank, 36 though down towards Helena. Hopefully y'all kept your hats on. 21 mile per hour winds in Havre and 18 out towards Glasgow. Over the last 3 hours, we have been looking at kind of a clearing trend for a lot of folks, with clouds starting to recede down towards the south. However, though, we are still looking at light rainfall over there near Chinook, as well as Fort Belknap north of you guys. So you could see maybe a few sprinkles as we head throughout the rest of the night, but it should end very soon. It should be dissipating. Now, as we head into the weekend, we're going to still continue to see these 90-plus degree days. In the afternoon, we will still look at isolated showers and maybe a couple thunderstorms. But the good news is next week we are expecting a cool down where temperatures are going to be in the mid to lower 80s. So I'm really excited to share with you all in a few minutes. As we head throughout the night, tonight into tomorrow, we're going to be looking at mostly clear skies. If not clear skies, will be a nice, beautiful sunrise. Heading throughout the day, though, because of our warm temperatures, we will look at a few clouds try and build into the forecast, possibly seeing an isolated shower or two. But I don't think that we're going to really see that. I think the best chance to see any rain for anyone in the next couple of days will be up towards Glasgow, where we could be looking at a few showers and thunderstorms making their way through you guys by Friday evening. We're going to be looking at staying mostly clear, if not just sunny all around for the next couple of days. As far as our winds are concerned, we aren't looking at any problems as we head throughout tomorrow, maybe 10 to 20 mile per hour winds, mainly along the high line as we go throughout the day. As far as when we're expected to be the driest here for Great Falls, we are looking at our driest right around 6:30 in the evening, 15% humidity. And for our friends in Helena, we're going to be seeing our driest conditions a little bit beforehand, right around 5 o'clock, 5:30, 19% humidity there. Now, with our temperatures, we will be warming up to 93 on Friday. We're going to kind of see our temperatures oscillate between 93 and 92 all throughout Monday. 85, though, on Tuesday and Wednesday, 83. And here's the thing. Our long-term forecast suggests we're going to be looking at cooler temperatures for the entire state almost. So I'm really excited about that. And hopefully that will bring some relief to you guys, too. 60 degrees tonight in Havre, 62 in Hayes, 59 in Malta, and looking at around 65 degrees in Glasgow. Heading throughout the day tomorrow, 10 a.m., 77 degrees, by 4 p.m. at 90. Altogether, we will warm up to around 92 on Thursday, 93 on Friday, and 92 on Saturday. We will see these hot, dry conditions for the most part, looking at only an isolated shower or two in the afternoon. The best chance to see any rain will be out towards Glasgow on Friday. Tim?
There's a strong possibility Friday night lights will be shining this fall, but some questions remain before we can get down to football.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Late Tuesday evening, the NAIA announced it will postpone its fall championship events in cross country, soccer, and volleyball, instead conducting those in the spring. Teams and conferences are still allowed to play in the fall, though in the Frontier Conference, they have yet to make a decision. Officials from around the league will meet this week and early next to discuss the next move, playing split seasons or postponing completely until the spring. Frontier Conference Commissioner Kent Paulson told MTN Sports' Richie Melby earlier this month he hoped to keep sports on track this fall for multiple reasons.
I told the ADs that I placed it one rung on the ladder above cancellation was to move sports to the spring. It's certainly not all bad, but it does narrow your choices. In other words, you're pretty close to the finish line, meaning the end of the athletic year, and if that doesn't work, then we know that you're on that bottom rung of the ladder that I referenced. Facility-wise, you could run into some issues. You know, you could have a track meet going on around the outside and a football game on the inside. You've got crossover athletes at our level. We may have to triple jump and then run back and play basketball or football or whatever. The larger schools, you've got the combines that we've talked about. So you can find a lot of reasons why it wouldn't work or it wouldn't work as well. But over here on the positive side, if that was the only way you could make it work, I guess that's what we would go to.
You can find more from that interview at montanasports.com, and stay tuned later this week and early next week as the NAIA makes its decision regarding postseason football. And earlier this week, the Montana High School Association announced its guidelines to return to fall sports. But as the calendar approaches August, there are still plenty of questions. MTN's Isaiah Dunk caught up with the Bison and Rustler football teams.
I'm here at Memorial Stadium where, as of right now, they plan on playing some football this fall after the MHSA released its COVID-19 guidelines. Things will look a little bit different on the field. Social distancing on the sidelines and no handshakes. But other things are left up to local health authorities, leading to mixed reactions from coaches.
For the Great Falls High and CMR football teams, preparation for a COVID-19 season began long before these guidelines.
We've been teaching COVID guidelines the entire time, so our kids already know they walk into the school, masks on, get where they need to be, get social distance apart. So we've been working, 3 days a week all summer. It's actually been pretty easy since we started with the guidelines and the restrictions. All we did is teach them to our kids and tell them exactly what they need, what had to happen, and they've done a great job.
And while prepping to play is one thing, traveling on buses and using locker rooms are other considerations. Not to mention how many fans can be in the bleachers, which could be different depending on the town or county. The MHSA has 5 progressive tiers for its return to sports, starting with the as-scheduled Tier 1 right now. But scheduling gets tricky on Tiers 2 through 5.
I'm kind of on the fence. I mean, I want to play, and I've got a great group of kids. But then the other part of me says, God, I hope they don't shut us down for a week or two because something bad happens, because we're never going to get that back. Some teams are going to get affected by this. And who knows, it might be Great Falls High, it might be CM Russell, so do you just say, well, we just live with it and we just move on, or do you shut everything down and try to believe that maybe next March everything will be good?
With still so much uncertainty, it figures to be a strange season, but if the Bison and Rustler football teams are any indication, athletes and coaches are ready to make things work. In Great Falls, Isaiah Dunk, MTN Sports.
Don't go away, we'll be right back.
Well, tonight, temperatures falling down to around 62 in Hayes, 65 in Glasgow, and 60 in Choteau, as well as Great Falls, 55 in Cutbank. Tomorrow, temperatures warming up to around 97 in Havre, as well as Glasgow, 92 in Great Falls. We will look at our continuation of heat over the next several days before starting to cool down on Monday. And that's the same situation for our friends in Helena. We're going to be looking at a very warm next couple of days. Temperatures fall in the 80s, though, early next week.
All right, so be prepared for those 90s for at least a few more days.
At least a few more days, but I think we can do it,
Sounds good. Have a great night.